Mesquite family. Dr. Rivera here with the board update for May the 13th. So we had a presentation by the Superintendent's Advisory Council. Students from each of the feeder patterns, seniors, presented strength and opportunities from each of the feeder patterns, and their presentation was just amazing. I encourage you to go back and listen at least to your feeder pattern presentation, the feeder pattern which you belong to, and see what an amazing job the students did presenting that information to the trustees, but they also presented solutions for those problems, and some of those are actually quite viable as we move forward. Then we had appointments, which everyone is always interested in see who acquired which position, and so I'll announce a few positions. We had about 7, so I'll start from the top. We had Matt Kane as Director for Teaching and Learning Secondary. Matt Kane is a product of Mesquite. He's currently serving as the Science Facilitator during the Teaching and Learning Department, and we're excited about Matt coming into this role and see what he does for Mesquite ISD in that position. Then we had a Director of Professional Learning. That was none other than the Coordinator of Professional Learning, Jennifer Heiser. Jennifer has been in Mesquite ISD for about 15 years, and she's taught several places. The latest place she taught was Dr. John Huang High School before moving over to Professional Learning Department and taking over the coordinator job. So congratulations, Mrs. Heiser. Then we had the principal for North Mesquite High School, and that was a selection made. It was Marisa Ramos Bailey. She has 27 years in the field of education. She has previously been a high school principal for 7 years. She's been a middle school principal, high school assistant principal, JV drill teacher and director, and she is coming to us from Crandall ISD, where she has been serving the last 2 years as an executive director of school leadership. Then we moved on to the coordinator for special ed, which was none other than Heather Beatty. Heather Beatty is an alumni of Poteet High School, and she has been with us for a while now. She's been 13 years in public education. She served as an art vice chair, and so we're excited to have Ms. Beatty take on that special education coordinator position. Then we had a few, believe it was 3 high school assistant principal position. The first one was the Learning Center, and the selection was Dr. Rosa Johnson. She's been in education for about 22 years. She's been in Mesquite, and so she's going to be working in the Learning Center, and we're excited for her to take on that role. Then we have Charles Dennis Sadler going to Mesquite High School as the assistant principal. He has 22 years of experience in the field of education, and Mr. Sadler is no stranger to Mesquite ISD. He has served a stint in Ennis, but now he's returning home to Mesquite High School to continue to be an assistant principal there. And the last assistant principal naming was Carla Joseph. She's an assistant principal at North Mesquite High School. She has 10 years in the field of education. She has a stint of teaching English language arts, and she has taught in Dallas. She has taught in Forney and Richardson, and now we're excited to have her as the assistant principal at North Mesquite High School. And so those were the namings. Then we had a discipline presentation by Mr. Washington, where we talked about how we're using the Mesquite Promise to highlight the implementation of discipline in PBIS and Mesquite ISD. Then we had an interested item. It was an action item. We approved ESS, which is a third party, to handle substitute management for Mesquite ISD for the 24-25 school year. But what does this mean? What this means is the Mesquite ISD will now outsource substitute hiring to this company. They will take care of our substitutes so we don't have to. And their fill rate, as we've done our research, has been a lot higher than ours because they can spend numerous amount of hours recruiting, onboarding, training, and placing substitutes in our school So we are optimistic that this will improve our sub rate, our fill rate of subs, therefore reducing the times that other people have to be in other classrooms and increasing safety and security on the campuses. Then we had a report by the auditor, which describes our internal auditor, what they do, what their areas of preview are, what they take care in the district, the difference between an internal auditor and an external auditor. And so he covered that. Then we had an update on tax office and how we're going to collect our local taxes for our taxpayers. And then we had a brief report on how we're focusing the TASB study and how that addresses compensation for the 24-25 school year. TASB made some recommendations, but the major recommendation that we're going to make as we approve the budget in June, because that's coming up, is TASB recommended that we brought up our salaries to 2% from the midpoint. So what does this mean? This means that teachers get paid on a pay scale, so the 2% will apply, but any other positions will set up a 2% from the midpoint. So in layman's terms, if you're below the midpoint, you get more than your current salary. If you're above the midpoint, you will get the standard from the midpoint. More explanation on this is to come, but that is going to be happening in the June board meeting. What the summary of this is that there will be a 2% raise moving forward for the following year. And whether you're on a scale is a 2%, but if you're on the salary for mid, low, mid, and max, it would base off the midpoint. And those were the things covered in this board meeting on May the 13th. As we say in Mesquite family, excellent as always. Have a great day.